Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. So this video, I'm going to be asking for prayers in my personal life. So it's a like show. Let's sing it along with me, gesture, and please like the video to show your support and prayers. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. So Sunday, I get to see Kelly again for a different event. I talked about a girl that I know from a board game meetup. I call her Kelly in these videos because you can think Kelly Clarkson. I haven't made a move on her yet, in large part because I really like having her as a friend, and I really like the circle of friends that we often meet, and I really don't want to jeopardize any of that. You can kind of think of the situation. It's akin to keeping your money parked in treasury bills because you can't afford any risk, right? If you had done that um, in the last couple of decades, you would have lost a lot of purchasing power. The number that you have might be bigger, right? But I can't really afford to take any risks with Kelly at the moment. So I need to get my money out of those treasuries and buy strategic metals in terms of my personal life situation because that's the smart thing to do. And without it, I'm just going to wither away. And so I get to see Kelly on Sunday, and so Sunday might be a good time to make that move on her because it's a different circle of friends, and if it doesn't go right, I guess I could continue to see her on Mondays with the circle of friends who won't know what happened. Right. After all, if it doesn't go right, I doubt Kelly's going to want to go share that. Right. So we'll see. But something came up that made me think hard about this. Number one, I'm still dealing with a mouth sore. I had some difficulty, not difficulty, but friction at work. Watch my last video. I teach at two community colleges, and I love all of the students there. But not every day goes as planned, right? Sometimes there's a colleague will say something insensitive, right? Not intentionally. Other times there might be unplanned things, right? The classroom had changed. A colleague does something that bothers me for whatever reason. It happens, not intentionally. Let me get that out of the way. And so it made me think, God, I wish I didn't have to juggle so many things, right? Right now, I go home and then I pour my artwork because I need that secondary income so that I could. And so I'm basically working four jobs right now, sometimes even more when I find tutoring clients. It made me wish I had a second set of hands to juggle everything, right? Now, something happened this past month. You may remember last month when I was working on my art project, I got very ill pouring a tin alloy. I've since discovered that tin can be quite toxic as well. I don't know how I got so sick that time. I've done tin other times before. Something must have happened that time, poor ventilation or whatever. I ended up with joint pain and my feet were burning and I also hallucinated. I was bedridden and I'm alone. I can't even have somebody go to the refrigerator and get a bottle of water for me. I remember that one day when I struggled to get from my bed to the refrigerator to get the water. And I was still teaching remotely during that time, if you can believe it. The in-person classes hadn't started yet. And I was still teaching even though I was bedridden. And I really love all of our students. But I had nobody to even go get some water for me, let alone cook a meal for me. I ended up involuntarily doing a fast, which might have helped the situation, by the way. So maybe it wasn't the end of the world, but you get the idea. Well, today I was going to see a colleague, but we ended up having to speak remotely because he came down with COVID-19. And as I'm talking to him remotely, he has his wife in the background. He has some grown children, not adult children, but teenagers who are taking good care of him. And not that I'm envious or anything, but it just goes to show that having a partner in life changes the entire dynamics, right? Obviously, there's a big difference between COVID-19 and lead poison or tin poisoning, but you get the idea, right? Probably best not to melt those metals in the kitchen. Yeah, I wish I had a separate lab to do all of that. Again, that's another issue, right? If there were two incomes, I probably wouldn't be living in a studio with roommates, right? So you get the idea, right? And so that's part of that equation as well. And it made me want to make the move on Kelly. The only problem is that I'm still not very romantic toward other people. But having Kelly potentially as a roommate without romance, but sharing tasks would be the ideal situation. I'm not sure how that's gonna how I'm going to approach it. Though obviously I'm not going to go up to Kelly and say, hey, this would be the ideal living situation. No, no, but I'll have to think hard about that. Watching my colleague deal with COVID-19 and how I handled tin poisoning and the night and day difference of that has really given me a wake up call, right? And so I hope you will continue to pray for me. The other thing I noticed is that obviously when I was dealing with the tin poisoning, I was too sick to even go out. But a lot of times when I don't have a set of hands to cook for me, a lot of times I quickly realize how expensive that can be. I have to go eat out and all that. Not only that, I don't trust eating out. I often worry, it's never happened, but a lot of fast food workers or restaurant workers are so unhappy with their jobs. It would be really easy for such workers to taint your food. Now, I have allergies. I obviously have to share what I'm allergic to when I go out to eat. It would be so easy for them to sabotage. And not only that, it's not hard. Look at all the other sorts of violence. We have school shootings and all that. I am amazed. We haven't had a restaurant like food tampering spree of some sort. It is not hard to go online and buy all sorts of toxic chemicals, or at least stuff to make toxic chemicals out of, right? Cyanide, heavy metals, radioactive elements, even. And I am amazed that has not happened. And fingers crossed that it never will. But I tried. So I generally want to befriend somebody at the restaurants that I could trust, so it doesn't happen. So that when it does happen, not if, when it does happen, they won't do it to me. But even then, I still have to keep my fingers crossed, right? So you get the idea, right? There's a lot of complications that come with not having a partner to share the load. Expenses, risk, loneliness, and every time I have an illness of some sort, not having the best solution in the world, right? All right, I'm going to make the move on Kelly this Sunday, so continue to pray for me by leaving a like on this video and pray that we don't have some sort of fast food tampering scare. I've been having nightmares about that situation. In the nightmare, I'm never a victim, though. I turn on the news and discover some teenager has gotten their hands on something toxic and poisoned a bunch of fast food diners or something like that. And it hit me that a lot of restaurant workers are unhappy. I'm not surprised that will play out one of these days. That's why I try to befriend people at the fast food restaurants and even give a tip, even if it's fast food. This is the Peter Light Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Light Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Light Show. Bum 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 bum.